Thanks for once again joining us. The case for abatement is United States versus defendant Linda Swin. How so? Because we have successfully issued and delivered 3 legally binding documents to Linda Swin's defense attorneys and the Supreme Court Appellate Division, State of New York, alleging the unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys involved in the case, including lead prosecuting attorney Alexander A. Solomon. What's different about our legal analysis, as non-parties in complex cases, we inform both parties, the attorneys for the plaintiff, the defendant, and the court, giving them an opportunity to correct the court record and respond to our allegations of critical procedural defects in the case. In the case United States versus defendant Linda Swin, we are alleging the unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys, including lead prosecuting attorney Alexander A. Solomon. We have yet to receive a sufficient response from Linda Swin's defense attorneys or the Supreme Court Appellate Division, State of New York, objecting to our allegations, the unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys involved in the case. Their lack of response allows us to invoke the doctrine of legal estoppel, meaning that the statements and allegations we have made, the alleging unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys involved in the case, cannot later be challenged. But what is a procedural defect in legality? An example of a procedural defect in legality is in America when a law enforcement agent or a police officer makes an arrest. They are required to follow certain procedures. These procedures include reading the suspect of the crime their Miranda rights. And what are Miranda rights? Miranda rights are read by the law enforcement agent or the police officer to the suspect of the crime. It reads similar to this: you have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to an attorney during questioning, and you have a right to have an attorney appointed. If the law enforcement agent executing the arrest fails to read the suspect of the crime their Miranda rights, this is known as a procedural defect. A procedural defect could mean that any statements made by the suspect may be inadmissible during trial. We've successfully delivered 3 legally binding documents to Linda Swin's defense attorneys, the Supreme Court Appellate Division, State of New York, and the Attorney Grievance Committee, alleging a critical procedural defect, the unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys involved in the case, including lead prosecuting attorney Alexander A. Solomon. We've yet to receive a response from Linda Swin's defense attorneys, the Supreme Court Appellate Division, State of New York, or the Attorney Grievance Committee, objecting to our allegations of a procedural defect in the case United States versus defendant Linda Swin. In the following releases of this docuseries, you're going to learn a little bit more about the arraignment phase. During the arraignment phase, the defendant is given the opportunity to plead innocent or guilty, and they are accompanied by their defense attorneys. Even though the conviction rate in the United States District Court, Eastern District of New York is 95%, you're going to also learn why the case is in a mistrial status, meaning that the jury is unable to decide whether Linda Swin is innocent or guilty. We are possessing the record evidence supporting beyond a reasonable doubt that our successful issuing and delivering of the legally binding documents to Linda Swin's defense attorneys and the Supreme Court Appellate Division, State of New York, alleging the unauthorized practice of law by all of the attorneys involved in the case, United States versus defendant Linda Swin, is the potential reason for the case being in a mistrial status. I'm Min Sakon, Chinese name Kong Mengxiang. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, peace.